Welcome to episode 4 of Write-In Tom McMasters for Huber Heights Mayor. Today, we're going to talk about a Facebook post that I see, and it was prompted because of all the discussion that was caused by episode 3 of Write-In Tom McMasters for Huber Heights Mayor. In here, you'll see that Ms. Pratt has asked for residents to go ahead and help the mayor candidates, me and Mayor Gore, to know what priorities people think should be high on the list for city government. And she went ahead and she called me toward the thing, and it's actually one that I got and received and looked at. And she called Mayor Gore as well. One thing you have to know about the Facebook thing is sometimes people call you over and you actually never get those notifications. So just because Mayor Gore hasn't responded specifically to their shouldn't indicate anything negative about that. There's a lot of Facebook things that go on that you can't respond to everything. That's totally different than what this video is about. That's another video that I hope to make at some time. But what happened here, though, is I really thought this was exactly what I was looking for episode 2 of Write-In Tom McMasters for Huber Heights Mayor. And you see in episode 2 of Write-In Huber Heights, or Write-In Tom McMasters for Huber Heights Mayor, I let you guys know that the Dayton Daily News has asked me to provide answers to 5 questions for their voter's guide. And Ms. Pratt's efforts right here is actually a very good foundation for me to help compose the third question that's on the list. But as the way that I normally operate, I actually like resident feedback for a lot of things that go on in city government, and you will see that as mayor, or you would have seen that as mayor. And with that, I am going to spend the rest of this episode talking about the first question that's on the Dayton Daily News. And with that, I am going again ask for your help in making that a quality response. I see that Ms. Pratt did really good at getting 91 comments on that. I haven't had as much luck with any of them, even the priority topics, with that, with my request. But I figure maybe it'll be better if I show you what I'm thinking about putting in, and then having you look at that and give me some ideas for how to make that better. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just read through the entire response that I have for question 1, why are you seeking office? And we'll go through that all at once, and then I'll go through each page here individually and kind of give you what I'm thinking and where I think that I could use some help. So here we go. After seeing social media posts expressing a desire to replace the incumbent, I reached out to quality individuals with the background to do a good job as mayor, and I asked them to run. When they declined, I registered as a write-in candidate. As a write-in candidate that will not ask for or accept monetary campaign contributions, my election depends on Huber Heights residents telling their friends to write in Tom McMasters for mayor. Oh, and if I haven't said it before, this whole response is limited to 250 words. I know the policies and priorities I advocate for today worked when I was mayor. They made sure projects like the Music Center and new fire station executed on time and on budget. If we convince council to implement them again, these policies and priorities will ensure the way over budget city projects like Marion Meadows Shopping Center will stabilize and manage costs to their completion. I'll keep that in commentary, but this is definitely one of those slides that I think that you can help me with. With your support, I hope it becomes clear to the city's elected officials that the planning, transparency, and economic development strategies I advocate are provided in good faith, embraced by many residents, and good policy. With your support, we can change the dismissive responses I receive from council when advocating for comprehensive planning, increased transparency, and sound economic development strategies into responses that promote fair evaluation, thoughtful discussion, and ultimately inclusion in the decision-making process. The desire to ensure tax dollars are spent wisely provides the reason for me to seek election and for you to write in Tom McMasters for mayor. Now you see that I'm not much of a speech giver. Probably would have to do that a number of times before it came off real smooth. But hopefully, when you read through it, it reads better than the way that I read it out here. All right, so now let's go through it one slide at a time so I can kind of give you a little background of what I was thinking when I made it. And at least the second slide, I definitely would like your help in reconstructing the sentences. But some of these I just hope that you'll QC and it actually says what I mean to say. So on this slide, I've written, after seeing social media posts expressing a desire to replace the incumbent, I reached out to quality individuals with the background to do a good job as mayor, and I asked them to run. When they declined, I registered as a write-in candidate. As a write-in candidate that will not ask for or accept monetary campaign contributions, my election depends on Huber Heights residents telling their friends to write in Tom McMasters for mayor. Okay, so I think, like I said, this says that what I want it to say, right? And in 2018, I decided not to run for mayor again, and that had a lot to do with personal stuff. 3 or 4 different personal things, but you can imagine that if you do the math, or when I did the math, I computed that if I took the $600 a month and divided that by how many hours I put in there, I was making about $5 an hour as mayor, which whatever, you're making at least a little bit, but see how many hours that is for a month, and you'll realize that there's a lot of hours in there to take away from your family, especially if you can't get them to get involved and do some of the things like, whatever. I think it would be great if they did it to videos or rewrite the campaign speeches or whatever it is, but wasn't really any interest to that, so wasn't really worth $5 an hour to keep up that work. So decided not to run in 2018 again, but the kids are a little older, and whatever, I can have hobbies, because I guess that's what you'd call it, even though it's a pretty big responsibility for a hobby, but you got to do it because you like doing it. But anyway, so that's what I was trying to convey in this particular slide. And you can see, I do keep talking about not accepting monetary campaign contributions. And I don't plan on it for any election that I go to. So, I did actually spend money when I was running last time. And during while I was mayor, there were a couple issues that I thought needed to be put out in public. And so even though I computed $5 an hour for the hours worked, I didn't subtract money that I spent for some of the other things. All right, so let's get off to this one. Now, this is the one that I think needs to be, I need your help on in editing. So how it reads right now is, I know the policies and priorities I advocate today worked when I was mayor. They made sure major projects like the music center and new fire station executed on time and on budget. If we convince council to implement them again, these policies and priorities will ensure the way over budget city projects like the Marion Meadows Shopping Center purchase will stabilize and manage costs through to their completion. I think it actually reads better than I read it out loud. But I mean, the main point here is we published the budget, we published all the financials for the music center, and we were able through that to get public input that helped us reduce the costs and keep everything on budget. That's totally different than what's happened in Marion Meadows. If you call in Marion Meadows, uh, the first time you heard they were going to purchase it was when they put up $3.5 million into their economic development district or whatever. And at that time, you know, everybody had this grandiose idea that it was going to be this green lake walking area with businesses and apartments and whole big type thing. So that's what they thought they were going to do when they introduced it to you. But a month and a half after they purchased the property, you had the mayor coming on and saying, "Oh, well, we didn't think about it very well, and it's not going to be anything close to that." And as it turns out, hasn't been anything close to that, and they keep throwing more good money after bad on this huge project. So, uh, like I said, if they'd just done basic things of planning, transparency, and good economic policy, we wouldn't be in that kind of mess today. This slide right here, I think it goes along with the next slide, and let me get through that theme. Okay, so with your support, I hope it becomes clear to the city's elected officials that the planning, transparency, and economic development strategies I advocate are provided in good faith, embraced by many residents, and also good policy. All right, and then the next one is on that same theme. With your support, we can change the dismissive responses I receive from council when advocating for comprehensive planning, increased transparency, and sound economic development strategies into responses that promote fair evaluation, thoughtful discussion, and ultimately inclusion in the decision-making processes. So, you know, what I'm getting to in here is that uh, at the end of my term, I had reached out and talked to Mayor Gore for an hour and a half or so about, you know, vision for the city, how to interact with other council members, the mistakes that I had made, the good parts that I had made, and we had I thought we had a good conversation uh, about things, and it was kind of peculiar to me that I had to make this video after hear him talk in the news, and that now I thought perhaps that it was going to be a temporary type thing, that he needed to do stuff to solidify his political base, but to me it was like, I'm not running again. Why are you saying the things that you're saying? But whatever. So I thought it was kind of funny, thought it was kind of political. So I will leave this video up in the description or in the comments as a pinned post, so that you can see how I reacted to uh, some of the things he was saying out there. But turns out it was not uh, something that he was doing just for political point scoring, or however you want to do, or however you want to talk about it. It was something that actually kept him from hearing the good advice that I would provide uh, throughout the last 7 years or so. Okay, and so, and that's what these two uh, things are supposed to convey, is like, you've been getting good advice. It was free. I wouldn't actually have to run here if you just paid attention to good advice and thought about them. But it's not what happened over the last 7 years. And then, so with that, kind of summed up in this last slide why we're running again. And this is basically why I've always wanted to be in politics, or always what I thought I could contribute to politics, right? I have a desire to ensure that our tax dollars are spent wisely. So that's one of the reasons I do this work. And it's also a reason why I think you should vote for me. But anyway, so any help that you can give in rewriting these or providing a different idea or making sure that the things that are here convey what it is that I'm trying to convey, I'd appreciate that. I will leave a link in the description of this video so you can get back to, well, you can leave comments in this video, but I will leave a link so you can look at the 5 questions that we're trying to answer. So if you want to help me compose any of the other 4, that would be a good start for me. And I definitely would appreciate that. And I appreciate your writing in Tom McMasters for Huber Heights Mayor when you go to vote.